So the summer transfer window is finally over. Manchester United have made 7 signings. There are over 20 departures on loan, sales, and frees. What I'm going to do in this video is a comprehensive review of every single transfer that happened at Manchester United this summer. Give it a rating and give the summer an overall rating. This is your one-stop shop for a full review of the summer window. What I want to say at the start of this video here is that it's been a privilege covering here on United People's TV. Thank you, everyone, for sort of getting involved in the live shows, getting involved in everything we do. I'm going to give away a shirt in this video. If you can drop a like on it, if we reach 5,000 likes, I'll give away a shirt as a thank you back to you. Honestly, it's a privilege doing this job. I love it, and I hope this season goes well. But this summer has been... Last summer was all about Frankie de Jong and the... Yeah, it was all about Frankie de Jong. This summer, we made some good signings. There's some positives, but there's also some negatives. So what I'm going to do, as I said, a comprehensive review. Every single signing we made, every single player who left the club. We're going to go down here, talk about the net spend, and give it an overall transfer window rating out of 10. Let's begin. And let's start with, of course, Mason Mount. Now, Mason Mount is somebody... I think if we're looking back at it now with hindsight, maybe not hindsight, actually, people said this at the time as well. I think United probably would have been better suited spending 60 million on like an all-purpose power, athletic, dominant midfielder, and then spent deadline day trying to sign someone like Mason Mount. I still think, no, I still think, I've always thought he will be a good signing. So I'm actually going to give it a 7 out of 10, all right? But I do think that United probably would have been better. I know why Ten Hag did it. I did my videos on all of it, didn't I? On the 2 number 8s, Casemiro sitting behind. I think he'll come good. He's had a tough start, but I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. You might disagree with that. I know that. Now, Onana. I mean, I could give it a 10, but I think that might be a little bit overzealous. Onana was a fantastic price. Negotiations were pretty good. Transformative signing. Will only get better. He is a face of this new look United team. I hope that we're at the beginning of a cycle and he's going to be one of the central figures in that. Onana for me is a 9 out of 10. I wasn't expecting it this summer at all. And then move on to Rasmus Hojlund, who we haven't even seen kick a ball yet. So you can only put a number down here based on potential. I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10, right? On Hojlund. I think... I'm so excited to see him play against Arsenal, man. I'm so excited to see a genuine centre-forward. Not somebody who's a winger that might be pushed into playing in the middle. Somebody who's got damn centre-forward. And number 9. His diet is goals. His home is the box. He's a predator inside the 18-yard box. Hojlund ticks all of those boxes. Lots of boxes. But we haven't seen him kick a ball yet. So fingers crossed he can fulfill that potential. But based on the profiling and everything we needed and everything he is, I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. Next up, Bayindir. Now, Bayindir is not someone who massively moves the needle, but this summer, I think I've spoken about this before, we've gone from De Gea and Henderson and Heaton and Butland. Butland's left, De Gea's left, Henderson's left, and now we've got Onana in, we've got Bayindir in, Matic Kovar left, we'll speak about that, and Nathan Bishop wet. It's a goalkeeper merry-go-round. Erik Ten Hag has identified him. I'm going to give him a 6. He said, you know what? You're the second choice for me. You match the profile, and fingers crossed the scouting network have got it right. That he can be a good understudy for Onana, that he can learn and improve. If he can do that, might improve over time. But 6 out of 10, that's totally fine. And then we move on to sort of well, it wasn't. It started with Bayindir. We made 4 bloody signings on transfer deadline day. Can we just draw a line in the sand here and say we're never going to have a deadline day like that again? It was... I mean, I'm glad we got it done, but geez. And Reguilon's a very different one. Honestly, I think it's a bit weird that anyone's going to give that less than a 7, right? Luke Shaw's injured. Luke Shaw's out for a few months. Ten Hag didn't feel that he had enough. He wanted 2 right-backs, Delo and Wan-Bissaka. Therefore, he only had Alvaro Fernandez as his only fit, not even senior, left-back, because Shaw's out, Matasia's out. He wanted a left-back. Reguilon. I'm fine with that. Cucurella, I would have been fine with that. But Reguilon, we got him with a 0 loan fee, which allowed us, of course, to go out and get Amrabat. I hope he can have an impact. But if he doesn't, he's only here for a few months. But he's going to basically play in the majority of the Champions League group stage. He'll probably start away at Bayern Munich. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think, given the circumstances, that this is a circumstance signing, and this is exactly what Johnny Evans is, right? Johnny Evans is a circumstance signing. The reason I'm saying that is because Erik ten Hag wanted a centre-back. Erik ten Hag wanted Harry Maguire to leave and Jean-Claude Todibo to come in. Neither of those two things happened, and we got Johnny Evans. I'm going to give that a 3 out of 10. I've got to be honest. I don't think Johnny Evans will or should be starting much for Manchester United in the Premier League, but if he does, I hope he does well. But it's a 3 out of 10 because it's nowhere near what Erik ten Hag wanted. I'm trying to think of what you... Erik ten Hag wanted Mount. He wanted Onana. He wanted Hojlund. All three of them were the first choice for Erik ten Hag in those positions. Actually, no, not first choice. That's a lie. Harry Kane was first choice, but we obviously couldn't afford him. Moved on. Hojlund was the first choice below. Johnny Evans was not the first choice. Reguilon's an emergency signing. And Bayindir was Erik ten Hag's choice. So all four of those signings are choice signings. And Amrabat. Amrabat. I'll speak about him first before I give it a rating. Truth be told, this is the truth. If Manchester United operated this summer as one of the three biggest clubs in the world, which we are, then we would have been able to sign Caicedo or Declan Rice. All right? And we wouldn't have got Amrabat. But we didn't have anywhere near the money. Rice was 105 million. Caicedo was what, 120? I don't know how much Caicedo was in the end. So in a circumstance of what we've got with no money, we signed him for 10 million on deadline day on a loan deal with no obligation to buy, by the way, an option to buy. I think Amrabat in those circumstances is an 8 out of 10 signing. I think he's going to be equally as important for United as Onana is this season in terms of how we play. The big word with Erik ten Hag so far and his football still, in my opinion, is a lack of control. Well, that's 3 words. That's what Ten Hag wants. He's the guy who's going to have like 93% pass accuracy in most of his games. You might say that's boring, but that means he never loses the ball. That means you give him the ball, he'll find a teammate. Therefore, you keep possession. It's basic. But United just don't do that right now in this midfield. And that is the most important aspect of his game. But overall, he has pretty much everything. He can progress the ball very well forward. He's got excellent tracking runs in recovery tackles, which is a big key weakness for Manchester United right now. He's not going to be a dominant world-class midfielder for 5 years. Yeah, maybe he will be. I tell you what, he adds so much energy, so much dynamism into a midfield that lacked intensity massively, and he brings balance. Bruno, Casemiro, and Amrabat, on paper, is the most balanced midfield that we have had at this football club for a substantial amount of time. I thought Amrabat was going to come in as an alternative to Casemiro. I don't think so. I think he's going to play alongside him, and Mason Mount is going to be the one that gets slowly reintroduced. Obviously, he's injured anyway, so it makes it slightly easier for Erik ten Hag in that sense. But the 2 number 8s didn't quite work. I still think Mason Mount will come good. That's why I'm going to give the signings out of 10. So I've got Mason Mount on a 7, Onana on a 9, Hojlund on a 7, Bayindir on a 6, Reguilon on a 7, Evans on a 3, and Amrabat on an 8. Now let's move on. Now I'm not going to give every single one of these. Like, there's no point giving all these free transfers a rating. It's just I'll have a little conversation about them, and I'll rate the ones that involved money or were undisclosed. All right. But the big thing about this is more to do with the players that didn't leave, isn't it? That's the biggest. That's the biggest failure this summer was Man United's lack of ability to sell, because not selling Maguire stopped us getting to Debo. We decided that McTominay was worth more than 30 million, which I think he was in the context of the market. And I think we expected West Ham to come back, and they didn't. And now we've got McTominay here. I personally don't think his value is going to go up this season because I don't think he's going to play much. So therefore, you can argue that 60 mil bid for both of those was one of the biggest failures of this summer. I stood by it at the time, and maybe in hindsight, I'm standing back going, man, we should have taken that 60. 60 would have been a new centre-back and probably enough money to get another midfielder in. So yeah, it probably was a wrong decision. But it wasn't just Maguire, right? It was Van der Beek. How is Van der Beek still at this club? He is not going to play. He's going to be an absolute ghost. Hannibal should be ahead of Van der Beek in the pecking order. Kobbie Mainoo, when he comes back in, should be ahead of Van der Beek in the pecking order. Eric Bailly is another one. Dean Henderson being undersold. It's the biggest failure of this summer so far, but there were a lot of good exits. Now, Galbraith leaving on a free. Good luck to him. Iqbal. Now, I found this just... I don't know what I can give that. I'm going to give that a 3, man. Maybe give it a 4 because the release... 3 or 4. I found it weird. United operated a new policy this summer when it came to youth players. Iqbal, Laird, Emeran, Tedamengi. I think there's some more down there as well. I suppose Robbie Savage, Bjorn Hardley, Nathan Bishop. We operated a different policy this summer of actually selling youth players rather than loaning them out. We sold them with a sell-on percentage. It seemed like a bit of a change in strategy, and it was, I suppose, to get a little bit more money back into the club. United were almost like fire sailing our younger players to try and prop up the spending of the club. It's just a sad reality of where our football club is right now. So yeah, all three of them, I'm going to give a 4, because while I'm not here saying that every youth team player is going to come through and be a star at United. Look, the fact is, Zidane Iqbal, little story here. When Ten Hag came in, he didn't know about our youth players, and I'm pretty sure he asked Darren Fletcher and the coaching staff, all right, which youth players are the most impressive? Who should I bring? And then they recommended Charlie Savage, they recommended Zidane Iqbal, and they came and they impressed in the pre-season tour. And then during the season, they obviously weren't doing enough to impress Ten Hag enough. And the thing that made you realise that is that Kobbie Mainoo was then spotted by Ten Hag's coaching staff and goes, well, Christ, he's good. And then he's now been pushed ahead of Zidane Iqbal. So I'm not upset that Iqbal left. I just think that Iqbal, Laird and Emeran, it's just weird that they went for that amount of money. Bjorn Hardley, Charlie Savage, Nathan Bishop, all leaving, undisclosed. We have no idea. And that's something to actually think about this summer, right? I've got them all down here. You've got Hardley, Savage, Bishop, Mengi, Gerardo, Pye, I think he went on loan the last day. Masney, another young goalkeeper. All of these left for undisclosed fees. No, it might only be 100 grand each. It might be 500 grand each. But there's a little bit more money there that's not actually reflected in the net spend down at the bottom. But all those three left. Deschamps Bernard, Norquette left as well. A young goalkeeper, Mengi. I'm going to give that one a 10 because I'm really happy for him, man. He's had a really tough couple of years. I hope he goes and nails it. He's now been playing Premier League football with Luton when he would never have got that United. I hope it works out for him. Mark Gerardo, there's another player. Third choice behind Wan-Bissaka and Dalot at right back. He's now gone back to Spain. I hope the best for him. I'm going to give that a 10 for him as well. United have got to... We have to avoid... We've been very good at hoarding players, all right? For a long time. Both of those, I think, will suit those two lads. And Mark Gerardo, you could say, oh, he's talented, he's good. If we've got a sell-on fee and he goes on to play well, we'll get something from the future. I think Man City made like 17 million this season, summer alone, on like percentage sales on Lavia and I can't remember who else. It was two of them. Nearly 20 million on players they didn't sell this summer, on players they sold previously with a sell-on percentage. I think United are just looking at what City have done and go, oh, you know what, we should probably do that. Years behind, I know, but it's true. Pie Fish. Masney, we don't know how much he went for. Now we get down to the more towards the first team sales and exits. Jones, 10 out of 10. Well, I don't need to do it, but Jones, Tuanzebe, I'm going to give that one a 10 because that David De Gea could easily have been given that new contract. And it seems like a lifetime ago. But De Gea out and Onana in is really part of this new United going forward. De Gea's still not got a club, by the way. I hope he does find one. Brandon Williams, I'm going to give that one a 2, if I'm honest. Because Brandon Williams was a player I think we should have got money for, but instead we've loaned him out. Alvaro Fernandez going out there on loan. I think that's a 10 out of 10 deal. Alvaro Fernandez, not going to get opportunities. Same conversation I'm having earlier. He nailed it with Preston. Can he go and nail it in the Liga as well? Maybe. He's only gone on loan, so that he could come back. It's a progressive loan. Championship to the Liga. Let's see what he does. Clearly, Ten Hag wasn't going to give him the game time he wanted, so it was a good move. Now we move down to the actual sales and the exits, and the ones involving money. Well, I've got Fernandez in here twice. Whoops. Oh well. Alex Telles, 3 million. I mean, we're not going to get more than that, are we? I'm just going to give it a 7. Anthony Elanga going for 15 million. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. I think we all spoke about how much we thought Elanga was going to be worth. I'll give that one around about an 8. Matej Kovar. It feels like United could probably have got more for Matej Kovar. Not mega more. But I think a little bit more. And I actually do think the same about Fred. But I feel like Fred is a player that we could quite easily have kept this summer. But we didn't. We sold him when there was a little bit of resale value on him. Now, previously, United would have just kept Fred until nobody wanted him anymore and he left on a free, or we couldn't get rid of him. And we got a little bit of money in. So that's a little bit of a difference. But there are other players, of course, that we didn't. Now, as I said, I'm annoyed about that Dean Henderson transfer. There's no way that that dude should have gone for 15 mil. Obviously, now, these don't include add-ons, right? Fred, he went for 13 million overall, but those 5 mils in add-ons. Henderson's going to go for 20 mil overall, but those 5 mil are in add-ons. There's no point putting them down in these prices here. Because we don't know what those add-ons are. We don't know if they're ever going to achieve them. Dean Henderson should have gone for more than 15 mil. It's the same price as... I don't need to speak about that same thing I've been speaking about. I thought he was a 30 million sale. Instead, it's a 15 million sale. Fernandez, I've got him down here twice by accident. Let me just delete you. Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, no. Had it all perfectly done. There we go. That's what I should have done. And Greenwood going on loan. You know what I think about the Greenwood situation. I'm very happy that Manchester United did that. Now, that's all. Every single transfer. I said there's no point rating all these ones down here and undisclosed and blah, blah, blah. Overall, these are my signings. 7, 9, 7, 6, 7, 3, 8. But there was a lot more to be desired. And it's that lingering feeling about the players that should have been sold and we should have made more money. And that's the issue. Because you go down here, right? Manchester United had a net spend of pretty much bang on budget. Pretty much bang on what we thought our budget was going to be. Around about 127.5 mil. That should have that number right there, 48.5 mil, should have been double that. I think this summer we should have sold in excess of £100 million worth of players. And that's a big failure. In terms of the signings we made, I think we actually made some pretty damn good signings. Right? I really, really do. Mason Mount, I think he'll come good. I really do. But United have struggled with the 2 number 8 so far. Onana, a fantastic signing. Hojlund, fingers crossed, man, that we got it right. By India, hope he's a good backup. Sergio Reguilon, nice short-term loan. Emergency cover. Johnny Evans, we should have been able to sign a centre-back. And Amrabat, I think, is going to be great. Overall, I think I'm going to give this window a 6.5. Well, not that you can see that. 6.5. I think we've made some really good signings. I think Erik ten Hag now has a better squad than he did going into the summer. So there's been progression and improvement. There's not been probably as much improvement in the overall trimming down of the squad. And that's why I can't... The 3.5 is reserved for the extra sales. Because had those sales happened, then we would have signed more. City have spent like well over 200 million, but they've got the best part of 200 million back as well. I think their net spend is around about 40, 45 million. It's insane. Chelsea have spent like 450 million, but their net spend is only around about 80 million more than us. Because they've sold a ton. United were crap at that this summer. I'm going to give it a 6.5 overall. As I said, I think there's a lot that we've improved on. I think we'll be a better squad for it. But more could have been done. And given the fact that City and Chelsea and Arsenal and Liverpool have all massively strengthened as well, it's not just about looking at where United were last season and where we are now. It's about doing that in the context of our competitors as well. 6.5 overall. I don't think Ten Hag will be furious. I think he'll be happy with the signings that he's made. But I think he'll look at that window and go, we could have and should have got more done. And I think that's my overall feeling at the end of it. As I said, that was a long transfer window. Right until the death. 4 signings on deadline day. Thank you so much for being part of United People's TV. Make sure you join the Discord. That's free. Links in the description if you want to get involved. That's the full comprehensive transfer window review. This bad boy. This board's going to have to come down now. And I will not be sad to see the back of it. You let me know what you rate it out of 10 in the comments below. Much love.